Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy DT3, man, and I'm back at you with another video, man. New media, notification gang, God Squad. That's what it is, man. Look, check this out. Look, one thing I will say in respect to Gervonta Tank Davis in this fight against Mario Barrios, I didn't expect him to stop Mario Barrios. So with that being said, Tank do got decent pop. His power does transition throughout weight classes, as high as 140 pounds, starting off at 130 pounds, meaning the Tank Davis. So his power, his punching power is what it is. It's really what it is. But what I will say, and it will offend a lot of you Tank Davis fans, and it is what it is, but all of y'all that's hyping up Tank to be this big name killer type dude, he not that. He not fighting killers. The thing is, you a killer when you fighting other killers and you whooping other killers. Then you a killer for real. But if you fighting a bunch of low opposition dudes, they not real killers. And the most they could probably say about them is they tough. They can hit hard, but they don't know how to hit or when to hit. But they hit hard though. If you there to be hit, they hit hard, right? But if you a fighter that's not there to be hit, well, them hitting hard don't mean shit. So what I'm seeing with Tank Davis is the same thing I've been said before. Gervonta Tank Davis will not fight nobody with a pulse, a real pulse, a heartbeat, nothing. He won't do it. It's bad for business. For Tank to fight somebody that's significant, it's bad for business. It's bad for business. It's a lose-lose situation for Tank. Look in his last fight. You got Floyd Mayweather, who was coaching from the outside. Now, Floyd Mayweather is not Tank Davis's coach. Quiet as kept, he's not even really his manager. He's a promoter, technically. So, why is Floyd on the outside constantly coaching Tank, trying to tell Tank what to do? I'm going to tell you what it is. Because Floyd don't coach no other fighter that's under PBC the way that he coaches Tank. Not Errol Spence, not the Charlo brothers, not nobody that brings PBC any significant dollars. Nothing. Tank Davis, he's all on Tank because he has a lot invested in Tank Davis. Money, time, energy, all that. He has so much invested in Tank. That is a real investment for Floyd. That's why Floyd is so adamant about Tank winning, the way Tank should win, the way Tank should fight. He's real adamant about that because he has a lot invested in Tank. And Floyd, quite frankly, he waiting for the payout. He waiting for the payout. Leonard Ellaby said it himself, which let me and should have let the boxing world further know that PBC fighters are not legacy fighters. So all y'all that want to say these dudes is fight for legacy, these dudes do not fight for legacy. Legacy fights for Tank, Teofimo, Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia. Hell, even since he's fought at 140, Josh Taylor, Regis Prograis, those type of high caliber opponents, those are legacy fights. Those are career-defining fights. Let you know if you're going to go up or down or just maintain a certain level. And these guys are not going to do that. The narrative that they push is that if you fight certain fights against certain opponents, it'll take years off of your career. It's a false narrative. If you are fighting opponents, right, and you are constantly fighting top-level opposition and you just getting beat the fuck up, then you're just not that good. You're just not that good. You're good enough to fight high-level opposition, but you're not good enough to beat them. Hence, say, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. They fight low opposition, they're not getting hit like that. They not. So they can preserve their career. But if you think you don't learn, or if you think you don't get better off of a loss, you dumb as fuck. You're dumb. Because if you thinking fighters that made mistakes in the fight and lost, you think they're going to go to the next fight and make that same mistake? You learn. You learn where you went wrong. You learn how you got hit, why you got hit, and you go back to the drawing board and you fix those flaws and get better to come back in the next fight better. Wilder got the shit beat out of him against Tyson Fury the second time. Got the shit beat out of him. Did nobody say that took years off of his career or a few fights off of his career? Nobody's saying that because everybody too busy saying that Deontay Wilder was cheated. But he got his ass whooped. Point being, PBC fighters, the high top creme de la creme PBC fighters, they are money men. They are not finna fight nobody that's going to really test them to see what they really about. We will never find that out. The only way we might find some shit like that out about is if there is no other option and the money is too great to pass up. And even then, if they have another option that's better for them as far as taking physical damage, they'll probably take that. Even if it's less money. They'll make you think they're getting more, but they're really not. So don't think that these dudes is getting these bigger paydays for fighting these lower opposition. They're not. These dudes fight for money. So if I can maintain making over $3 million, $5 million a fight, I don't have to fight nobody of top level or higher position. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire without fighting these dudes. I'm a millionaire without fighting Teofimo. I don't need Teofimo. I don't need these dudes. I'm making my own money. They need to get on my level. No, the fuck they don't. Look at the playing field. All these fighters talk about how they want to fight everybody until it's time to actually fight everybody. For all you Teofimo Lopez fans, Teofimo is not fighting Devin Haney. That fight is not going to happen. If you think Teofimo Lopez is going to fight Devin Haney at 35 or even 140, you a goddamn fool. If you're not paying attention to the scene and what Teofimo Lopez Sr. is saying as of lately, since Lomachenko's recent fight, Teofimo Sr. said it. Based on that fight, they're more prone to giving Lomachenko a rematch. And then moving up to 140. So Devin Haney, all that Devin Haney's fighting Devin Haney after Kambosos, cap. They lying. They have no intentions on fighting Devin Haney. None. They never did. They was saying that shit in interviews because it sound good. But deep down, when it all comes to fruition, they were never going to fight Devin Haney. Never. So let's say Teofimo beats Kambosos or whatever. He was not finna fight Devin Haney next. He was gonna say some fuck shit like, well, we gonna fight Loma now. Cause Loma is supposedly supposed to be the better of the two in opposition, but Lomachenko don't got no belts. Lomachenko don't have no world titles. At this particular time, all Lomachenko is a name. You already got a win over him, Teofimo, so you really don't have nothing to prove. And technically, all this talk about you being undisputed, you not undisputed because Devin Haney still holds a world title in your division. So you can't say you undisputed and you got all the belts when there's somebody in your division that's still holding some form of real estate. The problem is, in the sport of boxing, y'all don't like the truth, and you guys are more fans of fighters than actually fans of the sport. So you're gonna big up everything that these fighters do, not knowing that these dudes really ain't about shit. These dudes will never test themselves. You will never really see what these guys are really made of. We're not going to find out. The only way we'll find out what some of these dudes are really made of is like Jamal Charlo when he fought Juan Montiel. Nobody saw that shit coming, myself included. Nobody saw Juan Montiel giving it a fight like he did against Jamal Charlo. So the only way we will see what these dudes are really made of is when fights like that happen. When they fighting an opponent and they matchmake somebody and they thinking that they really just doing good matchmaking, when in reality They underestimate somebody that's coming in there to win. Hence the Gabe Rosado situation, which I watched that knockout like 20 times this morning. That shit was amazing. But real rap, Tank Davis, not gonna fight nobody. Ryan Garcia, not gonna fight nobody. These dudes that got all this upper echelon fame and fortune in the sport of boxing will not fight nobody of any significance. What they're going to do is stat pack their resume and fight decent gatekeepers in the game and say because they beat a gatekeeper, then they are something in the sport. They're not going to fight no real challenges. Not going to happen. Tank Davis will never fight a Josh Taylor. Tank Davis will never fight a Devin Haney because those dudes pose a threat. Rather, he has the potential to win the fight, which he does, but they pose too much of a threat. The chances of him winning is too much. It's too much of a chance of him losing. It's more of a chance of him losing than the chance of him winning. If it's too much of a, if we can't balance it out, or if the chances of me winning is higher, I'm not doing it. And that's just how that's how they do it in the sport of boxing now. So pretty much, PBC fanboys, they all for money. They all for the check. They're not about the sport. They're not about fighting the best, seeing what you made of and all that. They're not about that. It's all about the check. That's what it is. If you can make $3 to $5 million fighting the Luke Campbells, the Mario Barrios of the world, that's what they gonna do. They're not finna take no risk in fighting no top level high opposition because it's too much of a risk of them losing their O and losing their market value. It's these promoters and these sanctioning bodies got too much invested in these fighters. Too much invested to where they can't take an L. And that just takes away the rawness of the sport. Because losing is a part of the game. You never know what a person is really made of if they never take L's, or if they never fight nobody that's really got the potential to give them an L. Because some of these fights against top level opposition, they do have the potential to win, but at the same time, they're not willing to take the damage. Because you're not finna go into a high level fight and take little to no damage. It's not gonna happen. A lot of these fighters, most of these fighters, are not as dedicated to the sport of boxing like Floyd Mayweather was. Yet and still, they want to stat pack their resume like Floyd did. But Floyd was more dedicated to the sport than these dudes. And Floyd knew that. But Floyd just using them. Because at the end of the day, if they're using his motto for them to make money, guess what's going to happen for him? He get money. So the more money they make, the more money he get. So he like, fuck it. First I was saying they getting too much money, but now that they getting all this money, let me get my bid in. Let me get a piece of that shit. It is what it is. Bottom line, it's all about the check. It's all about the check. On the PBC side, these dudes do not fight for legacy. They fight for money. And I know some of y'all motherfuckers be like, it's prize fighting. That's what you fight for. Check this out. It's prize fighting. You are correct. But what is your favorite fighter made of? What is he made of? Who has he fought to really show you what he's really about? We know what Billy Joe about. He get hit hard enough, he good. He good. You hit Billy Joe good enough, he don't want no smoke. He's quitting on the motherfucking stool. Fuck you. Now we know what Billy Joe made of. But we don't know what a lot of these other fighters is made of. Real talk. We don't know. A lot of these fighters, we will never know what they made of. Stop asking for Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. That fight not gonna happen. We don't even know if them Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao fight gonna happen. Stop asking for these marquee fights. They're not going to happen. We're not going to see no undisputed nothing unless both fighters are under the same promotional banner. So cut it out with this, undisputed, not gonna happen. Errol Spence is not gonna fight Terrence Crawford. Not gonna happen. Let it go. Ain't gonna happen. The only way that it might happen is if Terrence Crawford goes to PBC. Tank Davis will never fight Josh Taylor. Never. Tank Davis not gonna fight Ryan Garcia. Not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Tank Davis not fighting Teofimo Lopez. He's not fighting Vasily Lomachenko. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. They're gonna keep giving this dude regular belts, and then at the end of the fight saying that he won a world title. Meanwhile, Josh Taylor got every belt at 140 pounds. That's significant, but you want to say Tank Davis got a world title? I heard you motherfuckers. I heard that shit. Tank Davis is not a world champion at 140 pounds, but I like how y'all said and new WBA world champion. I like how y'all put that narrative out there. Tank Davis ain't only won one world title in his whole fucking career. One. He's won nothing but regular super belts. That's it. That's all Tank Davis has ever won. His regular and super belts. He only has won one world title. Just one. And y'all making it seem like he the best motherfucking thing out here because he's won titles in multiple weight classes but only won one world title. Cap. These dudes is bogus. Like Leonard Ellaby said, Tank Davis fights for money, not legacy. Let it go. You're not going to get the fights that we want to see. Hardcore fans, you're not going to get the fights you want to see. As far as I'm concerned, for hardcore fans, boxing is dead. For casuals, best thing since sliced motherfucking cheese. Because most casuals are more fans of fighters than an actual sport. And that's where the sport is leaning to, is to cater towards the casual fan base. Because the hardcore fans, we not going to get what we want to see. Because they don't care about the hardcore fans. The money comes from the casuals. So who they going to tend to? Who they going to cater to? The casuals.